Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
This is the Lynn and Scott Show. I'm Lynn Serrano.
Scott Jones. Glad everybody could join us. And for those, I'm sure we'll have some people joining us throughout the night as well. But it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody had a happy, safe 4th of July.
Yes. Speaking of 4th of July, somebody here in Billings, our one and only Michael Wolf, he did a drone video of this, so I'm going to share this real quick.
Oh, excellent.
This is pretty cool.
Excellent. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he did a great job. I asked him.
That's pretty cool. No, Michael's obviously a filmmaker of some kind.
Yes, he is.
All right.
Yep. Advantage Media is his company. So I want to thank him for that. I said, hey, can I play? He's like, sure, go right ahead. So I was really, really excited. And
it's kind of crazy that everybody can get these drones now and do these overhead shots. Think about it. When we were young, that was like sci-fi material. Nobody would have ever done that, right?
Yeah. Look we got some company.
We got
beautiful people here. Oh, hi, Flo. Hi, Bob.
Hey guys.
Oh my gosh. I've been having this thing called Crackle, which I call peanut brittle. Is the best stuff. I'm going to see my grandkids tomorrow and give them a bag because actually I got 2 bags to give them. And their jellies. Oh my gosh. She's got some awesome stuff.
The Flo Jam.
She makes the Flo Jam. She makes it with love, and you can tell, Flo. You really can. It's just amazing stuff.
I got to apologize, Flo, because I'm going to be ordering some stuff. But as soon as I got off the air last week, I went and tested, and I was positive for COVID. So I actually ended up with COVID and knocked me on my ass for a few days. I'm much better. I'm testing negative now. Everything's good. It only lasted a few days.
Hey, I'm going to publicly invite Tam Lawrence over. I'm going to message you the link we would love to have you show up with us even for a quick hello. She's an amazing podcaster herself. I did a quick little pop-up on her show the other day. So anyways, while I'm doing that, go ahead, Scott.
Well, like I said, I'm going to be ordering some of your stuff. I can't wait to have it. And it's cool. How long have you been doing that with the jelly and the jams and the stuff?
Since I was a little kid, but I really got serious when my kids were little. So
okay.
So thank you for the support.
Oh, of course. I love supporting people that are doing that. I mean, it's like it's almost artistic what you're doing. I mean, I do my artwork like I have behind me, but your art is in your food, and so of course we've got to support each other and everything. And Bob, I know you support it. You eat as much of it as possible, don't you?
Number one fan.
What's that?
I plead the fifth.
I think I've read somewhere he's the quality control guy.
Yeah, I bought 2 pounds, but it was gone the next day, and so she swore me off that I can't order by the pound anymore.
What does she do? What do you have to do? Walk by a scale before you get in the house or something? She does.
Yeah, little sample baggies is all I get.
I always wondered, Flo, you come up with these flavors. Have you ever tried a flavor that just didn't work? Like you're like, oh my God, never. It's not going to happen. Have you ever tried one that like a total failure?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, I haven't. And I've done combinations like blueberry and peach, and of course strawberry rhubarb because of the pie.
Right.
But blueberry and peach was really good.
Oh, you got to let me know when you do strawberry rhubarb because.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you came up with like peanut butter and barbecue sauce, you may be like, ew, that's not going to work. I just don't know if you ever come up with a combination and said that doesn't work. But okay. Well, good. You haven't had a bad one yet.
Yeah.
I bet she can do something with the bacon or something because there's so many bacon lovers out there. Have you done that?
Bacon.
I put it on the bacon instead of making a bacon jam. So.
Oh man, the jalapeno cranberry jelly glazed on your bacon.
Oh,
the best.
We got Barry in
That
the
sounds
house
good.
now too.
I'm gonna take the rest of the show off and go eat something now, guys. I haven't eaten yet today. I've been busy.
Oh no.
Oh, there's Barry now.
Well, we hope you feel better, Scott.
No,
Yeah,
I'm feeling much better. I just have a little congestion left, but I'm negative now, which is good because I'm busy all week working with first responders this week, so it's really great. It's a good week, but anyway, yeah, I think it's because I got the shots that when I do recontact it, it's not as bad, or I'm starting to build a tolerance to it.
That's good.
But I have a feeling that's what's going to happen for all of us, is that COVID is now going to become one of those, like a seasonal flu. It's just going to come around, and it's going to become less and less, and people are going to become more adapted to it. And pretty soon it'll just kind of fade away into nothingness. It won't be some monkeypox we got to worry about forever or anything, you know. Barry, what's up?
Yeah. How you doing? So you're going from pandemic to endemic.
Gone for what?
From pandemic to endemic, they call it.
Yes.
Endemic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys, I had Barry on my show this past week. He he lived to tell.
I survived.
Yeah, he did pretty good, all things considered. He's like, I'm sorry, never watched my show. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you didn't. I don't think Bob ever seen my show before that. Did you, Bob? You ever watch that show before?
I've seen your show before I was on it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to have the Meek and Mild Gone Wild show here soon. I might start in October, and the Live, Love, Laugh is going to be. I'm going to honor people, but I'm going to do that a little bit different because a lot of people are expecting a lot of stuff that I do put a lot of work into every one of those shows for people, but I'm going to do a lot more, and I'm going to start. He's not here and he's not watching, but I think of Joe as like one of the guys that have helped me honor so many people on my shows. So now I have to do something or reverse.
I think you should just do absolutely nothing for Joe. and then he'll be so shocked that you'll actually get a Joe shock.
Yeah. Watch him show up or something. He's got radar out for us. That's all he's just. I love Joe though. He's just such a great guy. He's just a great guy.
Well, you got to watch out. He's got his minions out there.
He does.
I mean, he's got he's got ones of fans out there, and they're just waiting to pick up on something.
Yeah. Which, speaking of Joe, the topic today of having the confidence to be you, no matter what. I mean, Joe decided to be the genius, and now we all think of him as the genius, don't we? Genius of being a smart ass.
Oh, was I supposed to think he's a genius?
Yeah, well, you don't know.
I'll try that next time. I haven't done that yet.
He truly is a genius in a lot of different ways. He really is. But I'm glad that Scott, you narrowed our topic for today, because we were getting a lot of comments in our feed.
Well, it seemed like the common thread between what everybody was saying was about, in spite of all other things, you have to be you, and you have to be true to yourself, and believe in yourself. And without that, everything else is like, I've used the term before, you become an emotional vampire. Everything you get is from other people, but you can't build a life on that. Sooner or later, you're going to be let down, or you're going to break down, or you're just going to realize that you're empty. So
like Chinese food.
What's that?
It's like Chinese food. You're hungry 2 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And then what do you got left? You got the crumbles of the yucky.
Reality is also like when you're always seeking out people's approval to be accepted or be approved by the people. It's the same idea, because you're living on other people's hopes that they'll be approving of you because you don't approve of yourself. And that becomes so undermining, because you when nobody's around, what do? You're empty. So you got to fill up your own battery first, in that sense. So yeah, to be true to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not easy, certainly, because we've got pressures from everyone, from our family members to our friends in schools and workplaces, and God knows TV ads and films about what we're supposed to be.
And we start listening so much of what we're supposed to be, we forgot who we were to begin with, is the real big problem. And like the lady I interviewed today, she's from the lipedema. She's got an org project or whatever to help people, educate people in the US with the condition that I have. And she has a hashtag, "It's not your fault." And it's like, yeah, it's not my fault, and accept you where you're at, because It wasn't diet or exercise. The more you were doing it, the worse the condition was getting. So again, it's like, it's not your fault, but now it's just a challenge and fun to figure out what's going on and how you are. Oh, and it's a beautiful Sandra. But you know, it's a really good thing to
Hi, Sandra.
It's a really good thing to realize that, you know, accept where you're at right now. And don't worry if anybody doesn't accept you or doesn't understand what's going on. You still show up. I was moving things around on Saturday, and upstairs my daughter had moved out, and I'm just rearranging furniture and doing all sorts of stuff. So I woke up yesterday really swollen, and I'm like, that's my excuse not to show up to the barbecue. And I was like, oh no, Lynn, you're going. You got to stop hiding. And I went and yet, you know, but it's so easy to feel like I can't be present. But, you know, you got to show up. And I want to take a minute to congratulate Miss Sandra. She just made some exciting news. If you want to share with us real quick, Miss Sandra.
Oh, hey, everybody. Awesome show as always. I had to pop on in. So I am excited. I have joined the Ignite Humanity, a major tour kind of thing that I'm super excited. They're doing a docu-series with JB Owen, and they are actually trekking over 10,000 kilometers again this summer, 79 days. And then from that, they're doing all the docu-series, and they're dropping in with different people around Canada and the States. I think she's even, well, it's going to be Canada for sure, but may have some US people also involved in it, and doing your stories, your Ignite moment. And so all proceeds and all the fundraising goes to help support her development of schools for kids of hope. So it's pretty cool. So I'm super excited.
That's
super
incredible.
stoked.
That is incredible. Yes.
Yeah. So
and Scott, you have a fundraiser coming up for
for my golf tournament is coming up. That's on August 3rd, and it's for a nonprofit my business partner and I started called One Brother, One Sister, and it's about helping first responders deal with, within their own ranks, deal with trauma, addiction, and alcoholism and mental health issues. So many times our heroes don't have heroes to speak for them. So we wanted to empower them to help each other. One of our things is that, you know, you count on the guy in the truck next to you to protect you in a fire. They should also protect you from trauma and from everything else. So we educate people, we train people how to do this, and we travel around the state of Florida and now around the country. We're working in Illinois and other places. But so we're having a golf tournament to raise. The more money we raise, the more people we could train to deal with those traumas, and hopefully, you know, expand it even more. We've been doing a lot of firefighters. We really want to expand into police departments because that's where they need it desperately. We have officers with traumatic incidences going unchecked, and they're going out on the streets with guns in their hands. They need help. So we want to make sure we get them help.
Which, by 100%. The way, I think it's a good time to mention that there's a course which I have to finish and get certified, but I'm going to bring it up and Scott can talk about this really quick, and then we'll get into our topic.
All right. Yeah, I'll make this quick. I don't want to turn this into a commercial, but we have a very unique intervention course. Some people are familiar with interventions as far as the sitting in a circle, the family participation, the Johnson model, the Arise model, other models. This is a different situation. This is when you come across somebody that you can do an intervention on immediately, without thought, without pre-planning, because lives change with one conversation. Lives change in one instant when somebody cares. We prepare people how to do this. We teach them some basic skills in NLP, in body language, and de-escalation. It's a one-day course. You could take it online, and it's under $300. And it's nationally certified by NADAC, so you actually will be a CEI, Certified Event Interventionist, at the end of the course. Again, it's a one-day course, but online you take it at your leisure. Do a 20 minutes piece, do a 20-minute piece, do a 20-minute piece, however you want to do it. Wow. And if you're in Florida, come to one of our live training events, because I'm a lot more fun live than I am on screen.
And his videos are fantastic. I've started it. I've got to finish it, but I'm going to be so excited. You guys will hear, I'm sure, I got certified. I'm done. So I'm super excited about that. I'm excited. Awesome. So back to
sounds like topic. A really important thing, Lynn. You know, I just want to honor you, Scott, because, you know, having just been in that whole community for the last 3 years, working with persons who are experiencing homelessness, being a former like project lead for the community action team, which is responding to the overdose crisis here in Canada, particularly in Vancouver. Like we've been slammed. Like it's so sad. Like, 5 persons or their lives are being lost per day. It is so. There's interventions, there's things that we as individuals can do. It's not just someone else's responsibility. So, like step up, lean in and take this course, because that could save a life, really. So
absolutely. They need a spark. Everybody needs a spark. I didn't, I went into social work, not because that's what I grew up saying. Oh, I want to be a social worker. I didn't play like Salvation Army with my friends when I was a kid. I played Army. But when somebody taught to me and I heard about their story, it sparked something in me. And every change that's ever happened in my life has been because I met one person, great people like you guys, who just say something at the right time. If we're all prepared, instead of walking away and saying, I got to tell you, the nonprofit started because of one reason. I'm going to tell you the story, then I'm going to end this because I want to do the other stuff. But a firefighter called their employee assistant professional, who's supposed to be the ones who helps with their problems. He called. He had a history of drug abuse. He had a history of problems, and he called her on a Thursday and said, "I need help. I've got to stop. I can't take it anymore." She told him, "I can't do anything with you until next Friday."
What?
Because the beds are full at the place where I send people. If you just hang in there, and I'll call you next Friday. Well, he didn't make it the next Friday because the next day he took his own life. He took his own life. And this is like, enough of that. If somebody's asking for help, you cannot say later. You can't. Yeah. It's like somebody's going to jump off a bridge and you say, well, I'm going for dinner. If you're still here when I get back, I'll help you. We can't do that anymore. You got to help people.
Yep.
What everybody wants to protect what they have. Well, what you have doesn't mean shit if there's nobody around you. Come on. We got to help people. But anyway, I get passionate. I apologize for the passion, people.
No apology necessary.
No apologies. Oh my gosh.
No, this is the passion is where people know that you're genuine enough to really help. And Flo's back now. Welcome back, Flo.
Flo had to go make some more jam.
My computer just went blip.
I just
turned off.
Excellent.
There you go. But I love having the confidence to be you no matter what. I've always had the confidence to be me, but being an introvert, I always just wanted to be shy about it. I wanted to be me around my friends or who I knew, not comfortable enough to actually share it with the world. And that's what I've slowly been doing. So, there's Miss Debbie. She can't make it, and we love you. You're in here, spirit. We love you so much.
Hey,
love you, Debbie.
So, love you. So, Chip, wow, Lynn, you have the whole world on your show. Very cool. Yes, I do. And thank you. You should apologize for any reason not directed at me. That must be Joe.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Apologize for any passion not directed at me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm passionate about Joe too.
Yeah.
Big heart.
Hey,
Keep that.
I mean, that's not sincere as possible.
What's that, Barry?
This is not the Joe show just yet.
No, but Barry, you want some crackle, and let me tell you, we're about. We're gonna have a special crackle addiction recovery thing before too long. No jokes.
Just so you know, I still have some of that sample you sent me. I've still got some left. I'm really pacing it because it's so easy to go. I can eat the whole thing.
You got it already?
No. This is the stuff I had with the jams I already ordered.
It's delicious.
This is bad. He even keeps it in a little baggie.
I'm keeping it fresh. Good stuff.
Don't touch it, anyone.
Isn't that delicious, Barry?
It is beyond, yeah. And the cranberry jalapenos, that is awesome stuff.
Oh wow!
See, I make good recommendations. You see, we got through that one, Flo. Oh gosh, I ain't joking. It's I got a box. I mean, I've been getting every day. I've been getting a box. I got my final box with 6 jams in there. I'm happy.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm happy. I'm gonna share with the grandkids.
Scott gave up the crack, Ella.
Yeah.
Don't wave baggies in front of my face. I have a flashback,
Trisket, biscuit. Oh my goodness. But anyhow,
back to the topic.
Yeah, so the confidence to be you. When did you realize that you were hiding yourself from the world? I mean, when did it come okay to just say, something like, what the fuck, I mean, like, when is it comfortable to say something like that?
True.
Who are you asking?
Anybody up here?
I mean, did anybody have that moment about becoming themselves? Because I think you all have to have that from childhood to adulthood at some point, but some adults never go through that.
Yeah. I know I've already shared, but I'd love to share. Oh, sorry, Bear, go ahead.
Sandra, after you. Ladies first.
I was just going to say I've had 2 major Ignite moments. Okay, what's going on? What's dropping? What's happening, Lynn?
No, nothing. I was just reading the comment. It's all good.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead.
You know what? I just wanted to, it's really interesting because, externally, many people can think, okay, you've got your stuff together, you'll look great. But on the inside, maybe you're not great. And one of the things that I have recently, and I always like to go back into my own personal story recently, as recent as this last interview this weekend, this is how recent this is for me. I came to an understanding. I'm sitting there sharing my Ignite moment, how I've come to be the woman I am today, sharing how I've overcome being a sexual assault survivor, thriver, working 34 years of being suppressed, not knowing who I was because I was extremely focused. I was successful, but I didn't know myself until I made a conscious decision. I awoke into my truth and I went inside and I began this journey of awakening. Why I'm saying that is I realized another profound moment even on Sunday. I realized because the essence of me, I love to serve. I love to genuinely help people. And I sat on that beautiful couch as open, guided in my heart to my mind to a higher calling and consciousness, asking for me, it's God's source, just to allow that openness and voice to come. And you know what I realized? That in this moment, I still hadn't fully opened up. I was looking and speaking as a coach because my mind, listen to this one, my mind was saying, how can I help and serve you? Versus going to my heart, saying, how can I share me? And that's a fundamental shift and awakening deep, deep in yourself to do that. So I just wanted to share that.
No, I'm glad you did, Sandra, because that's exactly where I am right now with the whole, being confident. I want this, all my shows to be edutainment, all education and entertainment and fun and laughter. And I was stuck with this big thing of not want to have laughter with me exercising in front of a video or me doing the things I love to do in front of a camera. And that's the element because I wasn't accepting that. And it's like, no, I got the confidence to go to a gym to do it. I got a confidence to do it here. I need to journalize that for other people that feel the way I do. So collectively, we don't have to feel shame for where we're at right now. And yet, you would think that what I'm going to be doing in the next week or two, you would think that I'm actually going to be naked in front of everybody because that's how I didn't bodybuild because they wanted
to go, girl.
Well, I didn't want to bodybuild because it constitutes being in a bathing suit. I could never imagine being in a bathing suit. Yeah. And, someday I may do something crazy and show more of my body than I want to, but the idea is just, but my daughter who's lost almost 100 pounds, she went ahead and took a picture of herself and did it, and everybody that does it going forward that has the confidence to do that. I really, really respect them for doing that and the ability to do that. And so, I'm a public figure. I'm an influencer. I've got to step it forward, but it's not, but what I'm doing right now is sharing my vulnerability that what I'm about to do is going to be the hardest thing. I realized that it's just as hard as me telling anybody that I had ever been abused before. I mean, and it's like, are you kidding me? But yeah, that's where, I'm stuck at, but was stuck at. I'm not anymore. But on social media, my life is perfect. Like Bob's here. Joe, you've heard of paybacks are a bitch.
Yeah, they're coming.
How about paybacks just come back and get you? How about that? the new naked part is Barry's job on the show. Gee, he's Joe's really he's a big talker behind the keyboard, isn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be confident being himself. He's going to keep throwing shade at other people. So
that's okay. To come on the stage.
Well, you haven't made it on social media until you get a psycho stalker, and thank God we've got one now. So, Joe, thank you for
we've made it. How great!
You made it.
You made it.
So, Barry or Flo, would you like to share on the topic?
Sure. I mean, I was going to say the thing about coming out of hiding is something I've really related to a lot over the years. I had, I'm sure you did, Joe. Thank you. I've been in the personal development field for almost 40 years, and I didn't know what I didn't know, of course, because, we're blindly walking through life. And I didn't, thankfully, have any abuse growing up, but I did go through bullying, which is my sort of challenge in life, so to speak, when I was a teenager. But I remember being in one of the very first seminar I took. This is back in '84. And this is when John Denver was very big in the music they played during the seminars. If you remember those seminars back then.
I love John Denver. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Oh, me too.
And and for the first 3 days of the seminar, I didn't really know what was going on. I was going through the motions. But then on the fourth day, we're doing a lot of diet processes. We'd ask questions of each other that were scripted and everything else. Yeah. And one of the dyads they had was, how do you hide? And the preface for that dyad was to pick the person in the room you're most challenged by, whatever you chose to label it was. So I went looking for the most together guy I could find in the room, because that wasn't me. And this guy, he had a big bulky room, muscle bound guy. Got a tan. This is big. Got a tan on. Got a Porsche keytag hanging from his belt. He had all the stuff I thought I didn't have. So I said, I'm going to pick this guy. So we sit down and do the dyad, which is basically a bunch of questions about how do you hide, what do you get from it, and a few other things. At the end of it, I'm starting to feel like stuff moving, and I didn't know what the stuff was. I mean, literally, it's like my heart was opening up, and at the time I was going, "What's going wrong with me?" Because I didn't experience this before.
Yeah.
But then they played the John Denver song, which was, and what was the process was, we spent the next whatever the length of the song was, looking at each other's eyes, and looking in the guy's eyes was not my comfort zone at all. And they played this John Denver song, which is "Come and Let Me Look in Your Eyes."
Yeah. So for
3.5 minutes, wherever long the song was, I was bawling my eyes out, because I'd realized inside that some walls had come down for the first time in my life. And that made me, that's one reason why I kept doing the journey for the last, almost 40 years. But it's like layers and layers and layers of that hiding, because what I keep getting, and even now, I'm still a new layer comes up to grow through, to become stronger, to be more true to myself. And the video thing you talked about, I wasn't comfortable doing video, but then I started doing Periscope, which was easier, it seemed. But then in 2016, something happened that got me triggered. So I started doing Facebook Lives. I was getting so agitated, I couldn't just write something. So I just started doing Facebook Live, because it was a way of venting out my distress. Well, I did those every so often, and then I started getting more frequent. I ended up doing 1,000 over 3.5 years. I never planned on doing that many. But it was the thing about you, because part of this journey is taking steps. Because saying that I could do a lot of videos, I never would have touched it, because no, it's beyond my comfort zone. Now I look back and see what I've done. I'm I guess I'm no longer hiding from that one.
Right.
So the thing about being confident to be yourself, it's really been kind of a litmus test for me. Because frankly, we all are needed in the world to step more honestly into truth. Because frankly, the honesty and the integrity of this world has been lacking for a long time. The more of us that show up in honesty and integrity, the better, frankly.
That's why I want to have that show, The Meek and Mild Gone Wild. I want more people that are just your everyday people that need to be seen and heard and shown and shared with the world, because your story and who you are definitely can trigger and help other people feel like I see a Bob, I see a Flo, I see a Scott, I see a Barry, I see a Sandra, I see a Lynn. And coming together collectively makes other people say, I can do that. I have something to say, and I want to make a difference in the world.
And you never know when it's going to bubble up, right? You never know what that one moment is going to be that it just ignites your inner heart. That like you said, that heart palpitations, or those moments of what is happening. And so embrace that, lean into that. I always say, step in, lean in, and then love that resistance, because that's your inner self, your soul, your beingness saying, hey, listen, this is the cool part. Anyways, I love this topic.
Well,
I'm just like,
you know what's really cool about this is that, to be quite honest, what I'm about to do and how I'm taking things to the next level with the Lynn Serrano .tv and just the things I'm doing. 13 years ago, I saw what I've been procrastinating for 13 years come this September. And it's taken me that long to get where I am now, let alone where I'm going to be. Just being, I love health and fitness. You can't tell by looking at me, but I do. And so I'm just going to be. And
can I challenge you, Lynn? I'm going to reframe you, because I'm going to challenge you, because you're setting an expectation for yourself that you have to have a certain ideal. You are what you are. You're beautiful in what you do.
Thank you.
So I'm just throwing a little pushback on you, my girl, because you know how important the words are.
Yeah, and that's funny, because I'm glad you're calling me out on that. But I say that in this tone for those that sit on the fence thinking they can't do what I'm about to do. And that I feel them, I hear them, and I see them, and that we're going to laugh our way through it. So I'm being in the moment, but telling people, come along, because this is what we're going to do. And I needed to voice the vulnerability about it. Because, when I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. But it's the now, it's dropped. You're not going to hear me have that kind of voice once I do it. I'm doing it. And you're either going to flow with it or not. I have to do some TikToks with Flo, because we're going to flow. Yeah, Flow Jam. Pretty soon, Lynn, we'll just have the title of the show with numbers. No, I'm not doing that. No. And then I love health and fitness. I can watch those videos all the time. Yeah. And Debbie was going to say something, but it didn't come out. So, but she said that she saw Bob Donnell last week. And boy, did we see Bob Donnell for about 4 hours. But that was a special show. You should go check it out sometime. So, Flo, my beautiful friend.
Well, when Scott said sometimes you don't go from the childhood to adult, my siblings are much older than I. So I had parents telling me, or adults telling me certain things that maybe sometimes when you're a kid, you repeat. So Bob's laughing because he's heard this story. I was in 6th grade and I didn't even know what this word that this gal was calling me. She was saying, you're really conceited. And I was like, what's conceited? All the older people say, you're pretty and you're this. So all I was saying was, do you think I'm prettier than her? I didn't know that was right or wrong. So.
Yeah. Well, you are beautiful inside and out, and that's just puriates. I can't even talk right now. It
permeates.
There you go. Thank you. Just your essence, truly, and you're just.
But that's one of the things. So we have a challenge with current way we live, because we have this thing called social media, and the thing with social media, 90% of it is comparison.
Yep.
Yes.
And the thing is, the trap we fall into, and I know I've done it in my life a lot, is like I judge myself as being less than somebody else, so I feel like a failure, even though I'm doing my life the best way possible. But if we all just did that, if we all said, who I am is unique as we are, like snowflakes type thing, like Lynn, what you talking about fitness. Yeah, if you compared to certain people, you would say, well, I come up short. Compared to other people, you come up ahead.
Right.
The truth is, you come up 100% as you. So why compare?
Yes. Yes. I love that, Barry. Thank you for saying that. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm very flexible and double jointed, so I can do a lot of yoga poses that a lot of people can't. And I'd always say, well, looks are deceiving, aren't they?
Give that to me, okay?
What's that?
I like that. I'd love to have a little bit more flexibility.
But what I'm saying is I thought everybody did. I thought everybody was flexible like that. I had no idea. But
I bend like a burnt breadstick. Just snap. That's it. But if I'm bending, it's because things are breaking.
Yeah, but I just thought everybody could do that, So I was like, well, I guess looks are deceiving, because I I was like, wow, you don't have the chunkiness that I do. You should be able to clear that with no problem. I had no idea, I didn't,
Comparison game. Exactly.
I didn't mean to send the cartoon meme. Oh, sure you did. Sure you didn't. So, but it is one of those things. You have to be confident that if you do the best you can, and you're doing it for you, not to show off or to be showboat or anything like that. But what matters to you is doing the best you can. And being 56 now, it's different than when I was 30 years ago or 20 years ago. So it's finding your new normal when you get older. And seeing what level. That's why they have races, marathons, and all this. They have different age groups because they don't expect, and it's like you'd say to somebody, that's out of shape and goes, hey, I made it 25 in a marathon. They look at you like, yeah, right. But they don't understand that's your age group, I mean, it's just the perspective of how you see things. Lynn needs to join the circus. Thanks, Limberlynn.
Limberlynn. I love that.
Yeah, maybe that's how I'll call one of my shows, Limberlynn Romper Room today. What's Lynn gonna do today? Ask me, boys and girls, and I'll try it for you. That's gonna be on my Patreon, though. I got paid subscribers. Yeah, I'll be definitely motivated to perform there. That's the way it's as close as I'm gonna get to what is it called? OnlyFans?
Yeah. Super fan.
So that I could donate to Bob and to my jelly jam. I love it.
I'm curious what Bob thinks about the topic.
Yes,
about
Bob.
Confidence.
Well, I just like listening to everybody else. But I mean, on my perspective, I think I asked myself the question first: why is it that people don't feel comfortable being themselves? And then I work it backwards, reverse engineer it.
Yeah.
And my belief is that people don't, most of the time, they don't know who they are. So it makes it very difficult for them to show who they are, even when you've given them permission, even if society had given them permission, even if their classroom or their parents had given them permission. If they don't know who they are, in connectology, I teach how to connect with anyone, anywhere, by first connecting with yourself, then connecting with others, and then connecting with others. It starts with connecting with yourself. Most people haven't ever really done the work to do that,
right?
And so they're trying to get the accomplishment without the effort.
That's a big one.
That makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. One of the things that happens when I'm trying to help people with addictions and they're coming out the other side, and it's like they're at a point now you've got to reinvent yourself, because the person that was out on the street as the addict or in the bars as the alcoholic or home being violent, that was a characterization that was created. It wasn't who you are in your core. So how do you get to know you? And one of the things I ask is, what makes you happy? And nobody knows the answer to that statement. Because I say, what would you like? I want to be happy. Great. What makes you happy? I have no idea. Well, you're kind of screwed now because you want something with no idea how to get there. Right. I think one of the things that happened with me is that I spent my whole life chasing enrichment instead of enlightenment. And I thought things and position and my status was everything that I was. And although, listen, if you're a doctor, good for you. I'm glad you're a doctor. If you're a lawyer, I'm glad you're a lawyer. If you're whatever you are, I'm glad you can achieve those things. But it's not who you are. Right. And I had to find that enlightenment. And the first piece of that enlightenment for me was to stop being a victim of my childhood. Stop being a victim of my programming. Stop being a victim of what I see on TV. Stop, because it's all about victimization. It's all about you're not good enough. And if you do this, if you buy my program, you'll be good enough. If you do this, you'll be good enough. If you wear these clothes, you'll be good enough. And you say it in a statement like this, and everybody says, oh, well, that's just ridiculous. But we all do it. We're buying cars that we can barely afford. Why do we have financial crises in the world? Because when people have money, they spend every dime so they can look like they have money.
So they can follow the Joneses.
So they can. Guilty as charged. Keep up with the Joneses.
Keep up with the Joneses.
Listen, my family, the Joneses, we set the bar very low. if you could make it through a week without vomiting on yourself, you were ahead of us. You were good. But listen, the enlightenment came when I said, I cannot be a victim of the things around me anymore, and I must be the decider of who I'm going to be. And that's what it was. And the funny thing is, you can decide if you want to be a happy person. You can decide if you want to be a gracious person or a good person. You can decide if you're going to be a loving person. People don't know they can make that decision. How many people you know who are miserable and say, that's just the way I am?
Yeah.
Wow. Why are you giving up? Who are you a victim of? Stop being a victim. And this thing, and Sandra, I love the fact that you just share. We keep having these moments as you keep moving forward. We should have moments of growth. It could be every day. It could be a week. It could be a month. It could be yearly. We have these moments of growth where we're like, there's something new. That's what makes life worth living, but it's not about, the confidence to be you has to be simply the confidence that who you are. Stop using words like acceptance. I have to accept who I am, because that makes it sound like it's not at the right level. Acceptance is for things that we're saying we'll accept it, even though it's not where I want it to be. We need to start, as David Crosby said, love the one you're with. I love what I have. Who I am is exactly who I'm supposed to be. It's nothing to do with acceptance. It's got to do with pure fact that Scott is Scott. And no matter what you tell me and what clothes you wear and what cars you drive, it doesn't change who I am, and it never will. So that's where I had to go with that.
No, but you got a joker in your hand somewhere, and this is how talented you are.
I had to take my painting down because it was moving behind me. I had it hanging on something, and it's the creepiest painting I ever did. And while I'm watching you guys, I saw the painting moving behind me. I had to take it down. I was scared.
God, you're making me wonder what's going on over there.
Look at that's creepy. Oh,
so I painted, yeah, something different.
My name is Scott, and I draw dead people. Be careful, Mr. Facebook user, aka Joe.
I'm painting Joe next week, you rat bastard. You get to pay me not to paint you now.
Oh, we should do that in a silent auction.
But I'm very passionate about this because I truly believe you will never live a good life until you know that you are exactly who you're supposed to be. Everything else beyond that is it's wallpaper, it's paint on the walls, but it ain't the truth. So
that's the thing.
I think, Scott, one of the other things that I want to say on that is, I think people say, well, I'll be this, or I'll do this, or I'll have this when I blank.
Yeah.
And if you ever make a statement that you can do this, you will be this, or you will have this when you blank, that means you've precluded the fact that you could ever be that until that time.
Correct.
So
you lost control.
Be that until you made that accomplishment. And the fact is, you're already that before you've ever achieved it.
You just never stepped into it. And what you're doing is you're basically saying, see, I think this with great power comes great responsibility. And I think we avoid that responsibility by saying all these things aren't falling into line, so I can't be who I could be. Right. Instead of saying I could be that person right now. But you know what the truth is? People don't want to be fully themselves because there's a responsibility that goes with that. It's a responsibility to be true to yourself and to be good to other people. And there's people that they avoid that by those kind of statements. Those kind of statements, Bob, where it's like, well, if I could just catch a break over here in something that's totally not in my control, then I'll be okay. That allows us to sit back and not take responsibility for our lives.
Yeah.
Same thing goes when I asked the question of, if you had a genie with 3 wishes, what would it be? I listen to their wishes and I go, you know what? You don't need a freaking genie for that. You got that right now. You can do that right now. It's the same difference when somebody asks, what if you had all the money in the world? What would you do? Same thing. Why
you know what happened to the alcoholic who found the genie bottle, right? The alcoholic found a genie bottle. He rubbed the bottle of the genie pot. That says you get 3 wishes. And the alcoholic says, the first thing I want a glass filled with my favorite beverage, scotch. And whenever I drink it, I want it to fill up automatically and never empty. And the genie snapped his fingers and gave it to him, and he took a sip. It was still full. Took a guzzle, still full. Kept drinking and looked at it, it was still full. He goes, this is a miracle. This is amazing. The genie says, you have 2 more wishes. He goes, great, I'll have 2 more of these.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a flyby, and nobody
Yeah.
caught that.
No,
Flew well, landed poorly. See, that's good in the Alcoholics Anonymous program. We get that. I say that to normal people. They're like, "What the hell's he talking about?"
No, I got it.
Oh,
But
my
you know what?
goodness.
It is interesting though, because it kind of made me reflect about how I see not only myself but other people. You know, when we go into like, I'm all about conscious leadership. This is my world, my passion, my purpose of helping people wake up. And it's interesting because when I look at the ladder, you know, being accountable, so many people, we shared, Scott, about people who don't, maybe they're not aware. Like there's that sequence of how we kind of move ourselves up and through, and we go back and forward depending on how, you know, unconsciously incompetent we are, you know, for changing and things like that. But many people will sit at the bottom for a long time, not really knowing, or they'll blame others.
Yeah.
They'll blame others. Then they kind of move to making excuses, which is really, I hear that all the time. Oh, just like what you were saying, I have an excuse for this and or but, right? And then they kind of decide, okay, well, maybe I need to look at this. And then they start to kind of move up that ladder. And it's interesting because there's hope. There's always hope. And the lower ladders are the rungs, is where many people do stay. And many of the researchers have said, like, if we could just get ourselves out of the victimization into action, where we start to be able to achieve ourselves out of. Oh, I hear my reverberation. I don't know, maybe that's Bob or Flo, not sure. Anyways, but we need to own it. Like, we need to accept it, bring it in, embrace it, and then get into action and find solutions.
Yeah.
And that's the key about having confidence, right?
Absolutely.
And I thank you for that. And by the way, going forward, we're going to start our show at 7:00 Eastern time, starting next week, instead of at 7:30. And then we're going to start at 20 of. We're going to wrap it up because we are going to stay under an hour every week going forward. So, and I had Sandra speak. So we'll go with Barry for closing comments, and then we'll go to Bob, and then Flo, and then Scott.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I'll say
Barry.
just a quick follow up from what Sandra said. Because the thing is, most people aren't afraid of failure; they're afraid of success. And so, recognizing that we all are programmed to be happy, we're all programmed to be fulfilled, we're all programmed to be happy, to be loving. But we keep thinking we're to get something and be somewhere, and it's like, no. If you just trust who you are, and honor who's in the mirror. I mean, as you were saying, Scott, the relationship you have with the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror, respect that. And then you can actually go somewhere because you know have your own, it's like you're in your own corner, so to speak. So that's the truth.
Absolutely.
And we are in each other. We're in our own corner. So honor that and support yourself.
I love that, Barry. Love that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Donnell?
You know, it boiled down for me that the understanding that who we are is because I think a lot of times the reason we aren't who we are is this idea that we're not good enough, we're not enough. And if we can just realize that who we are is enough, and then say, so that gives me that permission to be me. But again, I would still have to go back to that. We have to know who me is.
Yes.
And that's the beginning point, and I think that's the ending point for me. Once we're clear about that and what value we do bring to the table, being you is really simple.
You know, Bob is the guy who would drive his car down to Texas to help people.
Yes.
And even though there's other people that would probably say to you if they didn't, which I'm sure they might have, why? Well, no, don't go down there. What difference can you make? Why would you do that? You did it because that's who you are. And in spite of everything else, I show up because that's who I am. And I applaud you for that, for being and staying with that. We need more people like you, Bob. We need more people like you.
Mutual
Love you, Bob. Love it.
Who's next?
Beautiful Flo.
What?
I love you. Okay, you're beautiful, Bob. Next time.
This is beautiful.
Beautiful. No, you're my handsome. I'm gonna call you handsome Bob.
Handsome Bob.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Man, you threw me off, Bob.
I just muted him so we could hear you better because they're in the same room.
No, not in the same room. But
Well, same
anyway,
house.
yeah. The title, Having the Confidence to Be You No Matter What, just reminds me of what Bob always teaches about being the best version of you, to help, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? How you become the best version of you. And it is looking inward, and then you would have all the confidence. Joe? Oh, geez.
The kitty cat.
I
Oh, I love it. That's
He
beautiful.
caught a gopher today or yesterday.
Oh, Flo,
Oh, lovely.
That is so beautiful. You
Will
are
we be expecting a
absolutely
new
beautiful.
jam flavor since he caught a gopher? Oh, what? What?
Oh my goodness.
Roadkill jam.
No, that was not. Oh wait, Bob's muted. What did you say, Bob?
I said the new jam is going to be called Go for More.
There you go. Go for more. I love it. Oh, go for more Flo jam.
Try to keep it classy. Look what
Oh,
happens.
here we go.
Oh,
Here we go. The new brittle called Go for Guts.
Oh,
Joe.
It's a good thing we're going to stop here soon.
Yes.
Bring it back. And Sandy, Sandra, do you want to just take one more minute and have your final thoughts?
Just a final thoughts. Just know in this moment, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. If it's not as glorious as you want it to be, then make the choice today to change, to begin anew. And as many of us, and our beautiful mentor, Rex Sikes, a beautiful friend here, always says, we have a choice to make too. There's the book, Life on Your Terms, honoring you, Rex, is we need to be it. So change and shift your mindset. You can do it. And then you get into action, and then you'll have it. Anything and everything is possible. So just have faith and move forward. That's it.
And I love that. We're all just human beings having a human experience. And I just love the fact that we're all just being authentically us and showing up on Tuesdays. It means so much to me, you guys. Sandra meant that I meant to be in the audience for these shows. Ay, Dios mío. Scott?
Stop being a victim, Joe.
Exactly.
That's why he's watching, to become a better person. So he's
good. We're gonna need a lot more shows. Listen, I agree with everything everybody said. I think you guys are fantastic, good people, and we need more people who can be sure of who they are. It's hard to fix a life that you don't have control over. It's hard to. You've got to own your shortcomings, own everything, because anything I own, I could change. Anything that I'm a victim of, I can't change. So own your stuff, own who you are. And if you look at it, Sandra just said it great. If you're looking at it and you don't like it, then rewrite it, do something different. But stop waiting for something else. Stop being a victim. Stop waiting to win the lottery to enjoy your life. Running around in the rain with a pair of shorts on and a t-shirt and sliding on the grass is more fun than going to Disney World and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. Guys, we put our emphasis in the wrong things. Start putting them on the right things about pure joy, happiness, love, and just being who you are. Everybody's got gifts. And I'm going to tell you something else. The only limitations I've ever had in my life that have really held me back are the ones that I argued for. My limitations are the ones I put on me. Nobody's ever put limitations on me that I could not conquer. But when I put them on myself, I'm dead in the water. Stop limiting yourself. Start living your best life. Just be you. And I love you. I love you all.
Yeah.
Giving ourselves a big hug. Everyone give each other a big hug.
Big squeeze.
Big squeeze. Gotta love yourself.
Well, I want to thank each and every one of you guys to be here, and our audience that have been here. And it's surrounding yourself with beautiful people like this that, if you find it difficult to be yourself around the world, start with the people that you do know and love and that you trust. Because when you're around them and they accept you for who you are, why do you give a shit about anybody else? Care about the people that care about you. And care about how you feel about yourself, because it is an inside job. And if you care about yourself enough to be around those people, next thing you know, you'll be laughing for 4 hours like I did with Bob and Flo last week. And it's just, and that's just an inside family joke here. But truly, it is nice to be around people that give you the ability to be yourself. And if you're not around the people that support who you are, start there. Because what we're doing is we're listening to all the wrong voices and being influenced by all the wrong people that you don't vibe with. So get away from that doesn't resonate with you, and be around the people that lift you up, because that's going to lift your spirit. We all have that spark within us. And Scott wants to share something on there.
No, I just saw it. The cat's going after Bob now. Gophers
4 hours of
laughing. Flo, get ready for the cat to drag Bob into the room.
Well, anyways, Pamela said, great point, Scott. You can read that. Go ahead.
Joy can be found in so many things, and tapping into that childlike part of ourselves is the first step. Listen, that childlike, I'm not even sure why we call it childlike. It's who we are. It's basically our core. Now, it was our core before we were educated, our core before we learned all of the negative things that we carry with us. It was our core before we learned how to be judgmental. It was our core before we learned how to be greedy and suspicious and all those things. So it's, maybe childlike, but it's actually the true essence of ourselves. So don't even think of it as connecting with your childhood.
It's your
Connect
first
with
like.
you. Connect
the first
with
like.
you.
How about their first like? That's the first way you were. You know what I mean? That's your first being. That's connecting with.
I think a better way of saying it. It's your birthright.
Yeah.
Birthright.
Yes.
I love that. Love that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I love that. That's a really great place to stop with the conversation. And again, you guys, we're going to be a half an hour sooner next week, and hopefully you guys can join. Love that distinction. It's our true self to be sure. Absolutely. Thank you so
Lynn,
much.
can we mention what an honor it is that you guys keep coming back for this show, and that it's no longer, we call it the Lynn Scott Show, but this is really all of our show now. And I hope you guys take ownership of that, because without you guys, we would just be talking to each other and telling old stories. So thank you so much for all of the knowledge, the freedom you have to share of yourselves with us. Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. I am completely honored to be around a group of people like you guys. So thank you for being here every week.
I'm honored too. And thank you guys so much for being good, beautiful people. We are at 59 minutes and we are going to close this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you, Flo Mina, Bob, Donnell, Sandra Horton, and Barry Selby with the Lynn and Scott Show. And it's as we all see it here on the podcast. So you have a good one, and stay tuned for some more funs and antics with us in the future. Love you guys. Take care.
Love you.
Love you both.